Hello, Alfie.
Hello.
Please, can you tell us a bit about yourself and what you do?
I'm Alfred Arunkumar, and you can call me Alfie. And I'm the director of an agricultural institute in India. And mainly we work among the small farmers, which is, in the southern part of India. And the city is called as Vellore. Yeah.
Please, can you tell us about the Kasam Agricultural Institute in Vellore?
Well, this institute was started way back in 1919, and this was started by an American missionary who had the calling to work among the farmers in India, and he came and established it for the reason to reach out to the small farmers with agricultural technologies, agricultural innovations, and sustainable practices, which would help this farmer become more economically viable. Yeah?
Are the farmers in Vellore poor?
Well, I wouldn't say that all of them are poor, but given the climate change issues they're facing today, I think if it continues, they might become poor very soon. So what's happening is they don't have enough rain, because we all need rain. I'm right, to grow a crop. The plants need water, and so definitely we need rain is a good form of getting water. But what's happening now is, because of climate change, as you all know, that the ozone layer, the hole in the ozone layer is getting bigger and bigger day by day, and then that's affecting the monsoon in India. So the farmers are not getting enough rain. This, in the long run, can definitely make the farmer in India poor.
Church supports the institute. Are all the students Christians?
No, not all of them are Christians. We have a even much bigger population of other Hindu friends, and then Muslims as well. And there are so many other people out there in different parts of India, but particularly from the place where I come from, we have more Hindus and Muslims.
Have you visited farms in the UK? Are they very different from farms in Vellore?
Yes, they're quite different from the farms in Vellore. For the reason being, I find a lot of mechanization in the farms in England, particularly. You use, I think, large, big, size, massive machines in your fields. But whereas in India, the small farmers do not have the means to have these big machines, or rather, it doesn't fit into their small lands they have. So it's quite sensible to have a pair of bullocks than to have a big tractor in the fields. Does it sound reasonable? Okay.
If you don't have the type of machinery, how do the farmers work then?
That's a very good question, follow-up question. Well, the farmers mostly, they have the family labor. For example, there might be the father, the mother, and sometimes grown-up children in the family. They join together and they work in the fields. So very less of mechanization and more of human labor. Sometimes to harvest a crop, like for example paddy, these days it's becoming very, very difficult to have the human labor doing that. So they might hire a small combined harvester, or even sometimes the biggest one, whatever possible, and then harvest them. So it's a blend of more of human labor and a bit of mechanization. That's the trend among the small farmers.
Can you describe the progress that has been made because of the support programs you run?
Well, the support programs we have at the moment in the farm is not with some major big organization funding us or supporting us in that sense, but what we are trying to do is, some of the organizations like, for example, the Diocese of Ely which we have a partnering relationship for quite a long time, they're concerned about what's happening with the climate change effects in the part where I come from. For example, the southern part of India, or India in general. So that concern has put us in a position to explore what is actually happening with the farmers. So we find that the farmers are having tough time coping up with the climate change effects because they don't get rains when they want, and the summer is getting hotter than before, the winters are getting colder, and it rains when they don't want rain actually. So these things are putting the farmers in a very dire situation. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring in a sense of resilience among the farmers, how to cope up rather than blaming what's happening.
We know that you're concerned about climate change. Why is it so important?
I am concerned, and not only me, I think all of us are concerned. It is important because this is going to have a big effect on the food security issues actually. So if you think a farmer cannot produce what he was supposed to be producing or he was producing earlier, and imagine like it happens for about 10 years or 20 years, if you don't produce anything from your fields, what will you eat? Can we eat the plastics or the leaves, the branches? No, we can't do that. So we need food. So if the climate change is going to get bigger, the effect of the climate change getting bigger day by day, definitely the food security becomes a major concern. The production level will come down and we don't have food to eat. Isn't that a big issue? It is.
How do you conserve and recycle water so that it isn't wasted?
Yes, water is very important, as you all know, for a crop to grow. Yeah, you might have seen little plants at homes where you have this, mom or dad trying to grow a small little plant in the garden. What do? You just plant them and leave them to grow? Definitely you need water. It's same with the food crops as well. So the problem now we have is there's a lot of runoff and there's no conservation happening. So if you keep the water, if you just let the water run off your fields, and that too washing off the topsoil with all the fertility, held up there, I think you'll be losing out many, many good things. So it's very important that we stop this water when it rains and allow them to percolate and then increase the groundwater table, which in turn will help us to irrigate the lands in the future.
Is there anything we could do here that would help the situation in the developing world?
Can you ask the question again? Yeah.
Is there anything we could do here that would help the situation in the developing world?
You can do a lot of things, but one simple thing could be having listened to me that that we are having problem with the climate change. So maybe you can ask your father or mother or your parents to stop driving the cars once in a week and then use the bicycles, and in some sense you might be using less of fossil fuel. Am I right? And then maybe a small farmer out in India gets some better rains and then be able to grow his crops. Is that feasible? Possible? Okay.
That's it. I haven't got any more questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.